Good morning. It's McCollum on Business, our 7 o'clock in the morning show. We're testing this out here as we normally do it at 11 o'clock. Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday this week. We'll be at our normal time at 11. But here on Tuesday, we thought we'd try out a pre-morning show as you're getting ready for work here today. Get you ready for the business day out there. Of course, I'm Stephen McCollum, and for the next 30 minutes or so, I'll get you updated on what's happening around the business world. Stock market, market watch, what the pre-market's doing here as we're getting ready to open it up. Of course, stocks we're paying attention to, plus local, national stories that you need to know as well. So let's try it. Works out great. If not, well, we'll figure out what to do from there, whether to stay at 11, move to the morning. Let us know your feedback as well. But first, let's get right into that market watch. And here in the pre-market, well, everything's kind of, up here this morning. Nothing major has happened other than some, tariffs, I guess you could say, threats there about Iran oil out there. But stock futures are barely up here today. Inflation report kind of came out this morning. The Consumer Price Index, just came out here about 10 minutes ago. We'll give you that update. Earnings season is kicking off here today as well. So futures are just kind of out there here today. But Dow Jones right now, in terms of the futures, 27 points up right now. Is S&P 500 up 10 points. NASDAQ's up 62 points. Russell 2K, that small cap index, is up 16. And again, these are all future ones since the market's not open yet. Then Bitcoin, still in that mid 91,000 range here this morning. 91,760 for Bitcoin here this morning. Now, I can tell you this. Those numbers pop. We'll have to check it when we check our market watch here coming up in our second segment, because I can tell you they're starting to slip a little bit here as we get closer to the market opening. Again, earnings season kind of gives some weariness because we're going to get holiday numbers coming up here. What happened during the holiday season, which obviously is going to affect earnings, et cetera, here on these markets as well. We do have the inflation report out. That'll be our second story here today. But right now, we're going to look at some stocks that are making some waves here in pre-market trading. L3 Harris Technologies is our first stock we're going to look at here today. 1.46% up here in pre-market trading. Well, this is a defense contractor. They were up fairly large today. As you can see, there's a big bump up earlier today as well. Company said it would pursue an initial public offering of its missile solutions business, and they'll do that in the second half of 2026. They're also going to do that in a partnership with the U.S. Defense Department as well, as we are looking at that. So market's open. It's up 1.46% right now here on the day. Delta Airlines, another one to pay attention to today. It's actually down 1.77%. In pre-market trading, it was down more than 5%, to give you an idea on where it's kind of moved since the market's open. It posted mixed results for their third quarter. The airline earned, an adjusted $1.55 per share. Well, that was better than the consensus. Its consensus was $1.53 per share. Revenue was the problem. $14.61 billion was the revenue. That was just below the estimate of $14.69 billion. Delta Airline, well, we know the airline struggled a little bit here with the government shutdown. That was third quarter. Did they recover with the holidays? Well, initial Delta one at least says no, they did not. Down 1.77% here early today. And then we'll look at banking as well. JP Morgan Chase, we know they took a hit yesterday, banking did, based off of that credit card 10% interest rate rule that was going through. Right now, opening here at 1.43% down, JP Morgan is. Well, their fourth quarter figures did beat analyst expectations. They earned $5.23 per share. Revenue was $46.77 billion. Here's the interesting thing. The analysts expected a profit of $5 instead of the $5.23, so they beat that, obviously. Revenue, they expected $46.2 billion. They came in at $46.77, so beat on both top and bottom lines. They even came out. So these revenue beats, this is where they kind of came from on the bank. They were driven, and a major majority here, of strong performance from its trading operations. So not loan interest like we normally look at for this, but trading operations Huge profit here for JP Morgan Chase. Well, they opened the market today down 1.43% right now. Later on, when we come back and look at stocks, obviously the market's open here. Intel, AMD, that whole sector is making waves here this morning, as well and overnight. And then, of course, Travere Therapeutics we'll look at as well. It's a biopharma stock as well. We'll take a look at coming up. But first, let's get to the stories that's happened overnight here. And the first one, well, let's talk about President Trump. And he came out yesterday afternoon, on Monday afternoon, and he said any country that does business with Iran, well, they're going to face a tariff rate of 25% on any trade with the United States. Yeah, obviously, Iran, kind of an enemy here, right, for the United States, kind of a pestilence in our sides here as well. Washington's weighing a response to the situation in Iran, which is seeing its biggest anti-government protests in years. So the president's putting a little bit more pressure on the Iranian government and looking to help out the anti-government protests over there as well. If you didn't know, Iran is a member of the OPEC oil production group. They have a say in that group as well. They've been heavily sanctioned by Washington for many years now, if not decades. It also exports much of its oil, Iran does, to China, Turkey, Iraq, and the United Arab Emirates, and India, among its other top trading partners. Now, there was no official documentation from the White House of the policy on its website, and they also didn't have information about the legal authority that they're going to use to impose the tariffs of 25%. They also didn't even have any information on whether they'd be aimed at all of Iran's trading partners, just a couple of them out there. We just gave you a list of their trading partners, specifically on the oil side. The White House, of course, did not respond to a request for comment. Obviously, the Chinese specifically aren't taking this laying down. The Chinese embassy in Washington did criticize Trump's, announcement here of the 25% tariffs. They said China will take, quote, all necessary measures, unquote, to safeguard its interests and oppose any illicit unilateral sanctions and long-term jurisdiction is the wording that they use there from the Chinese side. Obviously, because that's going to change this dynamic. We've got the trade tariff situation settled with China. If you're going to implement a 25% increase here on them because they do trade with Iran, is that going to mess up the deal currently in place? So a lot of question marks here, but that came out late Monday afternoon. And now this morning here on Tuesday, we got the Consumer Price Index out as well this morning. Well, it did post an increase of 0.3% for the month. But what it did was put the headline all items annual rate, it's at 2.7% in terms of the inflation level. They were both in line with the estimate level out there. So no surprise here, good or bad, no surprises here with this Consumer Price Index report, the CPI. So then if you want to look at it in terms of core inflation, right, that core inflation excludes the food and energy prices because they're so volatile out there. It showed a 0.2% gain on a monthly basis, which brings the annual level to 2.6% as well. In terms of the core inflation, both of those were zero point 0.1 percentage points below expectations here this morning. So they came in directly in line, and that's why you haven't seen some big movements here as the market has started here this morning. It's just kind of just there as we go into earnings season, as everything is right where it was expected to be at. But we do have a continued 2.6, 2.7, depending on core or regular inflation rate here in the United States. So it's not going up, not going down at all in terms of the inflation rate that we're looking at here in this United States economy right now. And it's interesting because you hear a lot of people say that inflation prices are getting more and more expensive, more and more expensive. Still is, folks, right? But not at those high levels that they were before. And then, it's tax season right now. And we've heard all the rumors of no tips on tax. There's a new form on your tax file you got to do if you want to do that stuff. But now the Treasury Department did come out yesterday, and they did say they're implementing President Trump's no tax on car loan interest policy. Now, there's some specific guidelines here for it. It's not going to be for everybody, but it's something that is designed to lower costs for you, the American families out there. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent came out yesterday with some more details on it as we go into the tax season. And this policy was enacted as part of that big, beautiful bill that passed over the summer of 2025. It's going to allow eligible taxpayers to deduct up to $10,000 a year in car loan interest on new, pay attention to the wording, new U.S. assembled vehicles. And they have to be purchased between 2025 and 2028. No used vehicles. You have to be the first owner of these cars. Vicente said the Treasury Department and the IRS, they're going to roll out clear guidance so taxpayers know exactly how the deduction works and who's eligible for it. The tax break does apply exclusively to vehicles assembled in the U.S. And that's finally assembled in the U.S. All the parts will come from someplace else, but final assembly in the United States. So to qualify, the vehicle must be purchased for personal use, so no business, no commercial purposes. It also has to have its, as I said, its final assembly must be done here in the U.S. And if you don't, the final assembly, because there's some confusion on that. Final assembly refers to the part of the process which the major components of the vehicle. So this would be engine, transmission, body, the chassis, for instance. The major parts of the vehicle are fully integrated, and the vehicle is completed at a U.S. based manufacturing plant. Automotive experts out there kind of got together and they're kind of just putting this information out here as we're waiting for more details from the government. But buyers must also be the vehicle's first owner, so no used cars, and the loan must be secured by a lien against it. So you can't just get it from your grandma Nancy, and you get the loan from her, and you go that side. No, it has to be a lien against it. To a reputable company is usually how you get that done as well. The deduction shrinks for high earners, phasing out for individuals making more than $100,000 a year, and joint filers that earn more than $200,000. The IRS has yet released an official list of qualifying vehicles and models, so we still have some more details coming our way. But if you bought a car here in 2025, you will be eligible for this if you got a loan on it, which most people do out there. So pay attention as we get more and more details, but that is in fact happening here as we go into this tax filing season. And now let's do a couple stories here about Google out there. Or excuse me, Alphabet first and then Google second, right? Because Alphabet, obviously the parent company of Google, use them interchangeably for most parts. But Alphabet did become the fourth big tech company to be valued at $4 trillion yesterday. This is a number that nobody ever thought you would get to in terms of a milestone of a company's value and stuff. But it is becoming more popular. It is becoming more like a rite of passage because and it's all driven by the artificial intelligence race that's going on out there. Alphabet reached that $4 billion level just 4 months after Google, of course, fought off and kept at bay the U.S. government's attempt to break up their internet empire. And that was with that, if you remember, that ruling last year, branding its search engine an illegal monopoly. They're able to keep everything together. In an effort to further prevent abuses, a federal judge overseeing the case ordered a shakeup and that ended up happening where investors widely interpreted it as a slap on the wrist for Alphabet. That has resulted in a 57% increase in Alphabet's stock price since that happened. So that court case actually helped Alphabet in the long run, at least in their stock side of things as well. And what's happened? That 57% increase, well, created an additional $1.4 trillion in shareholder wealth. So big movement here after that ruling last year. So Alphabet's now in that $4 trillion club, and it's previously been there hit there before by Nvidia. They became the first to cross that $4 trillion barrier back in July. Apple and Microsoft have also surpassed the $4 trillion market values last year. They've actually fallen back though. There's been a lot of sell-offs, right, lately with that spending spree and the worries of the spending spree on the AI side of things as well. And is that a bubble? Is that not a bubble? So Google, fourth company to hit that $4 trillion mark yesterday. And I do find it ironic. It's on the back of the government's lawsuit and the judge's rulings, and then that's where they got their big bump out there for Alphabet. And now, big news for Alphabet also yesterday with that $4 trillion level is Apple came out and Apple said they're going to rely on Google to help it with its efforts to kind of finish up and make its AI on their smartphones, well, more smarter out there, right? So Apple says that Google is going to help them. Their AI is going to help them with that, of course, Siri, and bring other artificial intelligence features to the iPhone. So Apple is trying to play catch up with the AI craze, and they're enlisting their competitor Google to do it as well. The deal allowing Apple to tap into Google's AI technology, well, was disclosed late Monday on a joint statement from Apple and Google together. The partnership will draw upon Google's Gemini technology. It's going to customize a suite of AI features, and they're calling it Apple Intelligence. Yes, you've heard that term before, and Apple failed miserably on that announcement and what's happened afterwards and things. So Apple Intelligence will be on iPhones, iPads, and most of their products that it can go onto. After Google and others took the early lead in the artificial intelligence race, Apple promised to plant its first big stake in the field with an array of new features that were supposed to be coming to the iPhone in 2024. Right? That was all part of that big software upgrade that they did. They did big testing on it, big promotion of it. Yeah, many of Apple's AI features, though, they're still in the development phase. They keep pushing it back on the major releases of them and things. And interesting enough, Google, Samsung, well, they've been rolling out more of the technology on their own devices. One of the most glaring AI emissions in the iPhone has been the promised overhaul of Siri. That was supposed to transform the Siri, who's a lot of times confused, doesn't know what's happening out there, and her questions. They want to make her more of a conversational, versatile multitasker out there, and it's failed miserably. And when Apple's been trying to control it. So Apple, is trying to endorse the AI, and it does, interesting enough, represent a coup for Google here by getting their competitor to join at their side of things to get their system to work. Google is way ahead of Apple in terms of this. Samsung's way ahead of Apple in terms of this because obviously Samsung uses the Google system as well. So Google has been releasing more and more features off of their Gemini technology in its search engines and even on the Gmail side. If you have Gmail, you've seen those improvements there as well. The progress has intensified Google's competition with OpenAI, which of course is ChatGPT's chatbot there. And the deal with Apple, well, it does make it an option for the iPhone for ChatGPT, but does Gemini kind of take the lead now for Google and kind of push ChatGPT out of the iPhone system with this new deal? So that is something to watch there between those AI competitors. But Apple, yes, going to a competitor to improve their artificial intelligence on their phones. That's a big deal, folks, to get that to happen out there. And last story here of this segment. This is just a story here of Barbie. Let's just say it's Barbie, right? And I'll try to be inclusive and get you the representation out there. Well, we told you about they were coming out with this, but now we know more details of it as well. But Mattel's obviously likes to expand its products out there for more people, and now it's expanding its push for inclusion, right? They're going to launch its first autistic Barbie out there. It is developed in partnership with autism advocates, and it's going to reflect how some people on the spectrum experience the world. So Mattel spent more than 18 months developing this artistic Barbie in partnership with the Autistic Self Advocacy Network. That's called ASAN for short. That's a nonprofit that works to advance the rights and media representation of autistic people. So the aim of artistic Barbie here, well, the company said it was to design a doll that reflects some of the ways autistic individuals experience and navigate this world that we all live in out there. The Barbie design team worked with ASAN to basically authentically reflect some experiences those on the autism spectrum may relate to out there. So the doll does include articulated elbows and wrists to allow for movement such as hand flapping and other gestures. That's often used for sensory regulation or expression. The doll's eyes are positioned with slightly averted gaze, reflecting how some people on the autism spectrum may avoid direct eye contact with people. It does have accessories that help out as well. It includes a pink finger clip fidget spinner. It does spin on the doll, by the way. Pink noise canceling headphones designed to reduce sensory overload, and a pink tablet displaying symbol based, augmentative, and alternative communication apps which is those AAC apps that you see out there as well. That all helps support communication between people as well. The doll also features sensory conscious clothing. That does have loose fitting, purple pinstripe A-line dress with short sleeves and a flowy skirt, if I can say it 3 times fast. It's designed to limit fabric to skin contact. Flat purple shoes are included to promote stability and then ease of movement also. So, Autistic Barbie is coming out for those of you interested in that out there. Now, here's a nice thing I think about it as well as you get into it, because they have other ones like Blind Barbie and stuff like that. But the doll's suggested retail price is $11.87. So it's not unaffordable in today's measure as well. It follows the footsteps of other Barbies that were launched to increase inclusiveness among children toys. Like I said, they have a blind Barbie. They do have a Barbie with Down syndrome out as well. And then Barbie with type 1 diabetes for people with children to help them get through those issues as they get into, of course, go through childhood and learn to be adults out there as well. So good for Barbie and good for Mattel there as well. And when we come back here at McCollum on Business, we keep this morning show rolling here on this Tuesday. We're here at 7 o'clock live, normally at 11. We'll talk about that when we come back. We'll do a market watch, do our stocks again. So come on back, folks. McCollum on Business, Tuesday edition. And we're back here, McCollum on Business, Tuesday edition. Yes, folks, your eyes do not deceive you. It's 7 a.m. here is when we went live here this morning on Tuesday. Just trying something different on Tuesdays here. Of course, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. You can find us here at 11 o'clock live at Robat TV. And we put it up immediately on demand here at Robat TV as well as a YouTube page as well. And then this morning, we're just trying Tuesdays here at 7 a.m. Do a pre-market day in terms of the news stories out there. Today's our first one. Appreciate you joining us if you're joining us live. Of course, catch us on demand if you can't join us live on the YouTube page and at Robat TV as well. The main event's coming up here at 8 o'clock, 8 to 10 o'clock today. Bruce Cooper, the local legend from Channel 12 News, joins us also here this morning, about 9 o'clock here today. And we talk NFL football, of course, college football, NBA, and local sports with Bruce Cooper out there. And then, of course, later on this week, you have the Real Matrix coming out. Fridays around 10 o'clock is when that's going to be posted. Moving forward, of course, you can find that here at Robat TV under the channel section. You can find it on the YouTube page as well as your broadcast system out there. Just search The Real Matrix and it pops right up for you in the podcast form as well out there. And the pit stop, we are a few weeks away from the start of the NASCAR season. They unveiled their new quote-unquote playoff format yesterday. Goes back to the old chase format. 10 races, 16 drivers, 10 races. And no eliminations in that as well. No win and get in during the regular season. You have to finish in the top 16 to make that chase. and then be consistent for 10 races as well in order to win the championship. So back to the new old format this year. There, they announced that yesterday with a pit stop, getting ready to come back for the racing season as well here at Robat TV, the YouTube page, and at the Pit Stop Talk is where you can find social media posts on that as well as the podcast version on all your favorite podcast systems out there. So let's wrap up this early morning McCollum on business here with the Market Watch. Okay, so everything's kind of just settling here right now in terms of the futures on the market. As you can see, if you don't know, the market opens at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time, which is 7:30 a.m. here. So it's getting ready to open in about 4 minutes right now and everything. So right now we're just kind of seeing where we are before. Like I said, we got the CPI report out earlier today, exactly where everybody thought it was, 2.6, 2.7, depending on if it's core or regular CPI inflation numbers, right where everything was expected at. Now we're right on the cusp of earnings season right now as well. So how will that affect the market is we're going to see results from the holiday season from companies and all facets of things. We'll have to see where the market ebbs and flows here coming up as well. Right now, as we're getting ready for the bell to sound in 4 minutes, Dow Jones is up to 48 points. S&P 500's up to 15. The Nasdaq's up 62 points right now. Russell 2K up 16 points as well here in pre-market trading. Bitcoin is up today. It's still in that it's actually moved up to the 92,000 here. 92,113 for Bitcoin here in the early market time. So 3 minutes, the market opens. Maybe we'll take a look at it again here as we go off air here in just a little bit. But stocks that are making waves here in pre-market trading. First one we're going to look at is Intel out there. Basically this and AMD. We'll show you AMD in just a minute here. Both starting the day off a little bit down. 3.27% down for Intel here in the pre-market trading as the market's about to open. But KeyBank came out and upgraded Intel to overweight. Now let's show the AMD stock as well. They were also upgraded to overweight as well. They're up 2.22% right now as well. I can tell you they both were up earlier in pre-market trading overnight. So I'll have to see what they do once the market opens here as well. But they've both been upgraded to overweight from KeyBank. They say that they both have an upside of more than 30% between these two companies. And why are they saying that? Well, of course, data center demand is the reason why they're saying that as well. So if data center demand, 30% upside for both these companies. Well, pre-market trading, Intel's down, but AMD is up here. So pay attention to both these stocks as we go through the business day here on the stock market as well. Then the last stock we're going to look at here in this segment, Travere Therapeutics is what we are going to look at. It's a biopharmaceutical stock. It's down here to start the day as well. And overnight pre-market trading, I can tell you, it was down about 25% there. Now with the market opening now, you can see it's down to 1.39%. At the end of yesterday. Those are the numbers you're seeing now, the end of yesterday. See the gray marking there on your screen if you're watching us? Well, that's the pre-market trading. You can see how far it goes down. 28% down in pre-market trading. Huge tumble here for them. We'll have to see what that does once the market opens here. But it received additional information requests from the FDA to characterize its clinical benefit of a drug for the use of kidney disorder. That's not good news for a drug maker. They want more requests from the FDA in order to work with this drug and try to get it approved. Terrible news because obviously it would be better if you didn't have to give all the additional information to get it cleared out there. So yesterday it closed 1.39% down 28% in pre-market trading. Well, market opens in 1 minute, so we'll see what it's at here when the market opens up as well, if that's something you're interested in looking at here today. And then let's get into a couple local stories here on the day as well as the market's opening up here in just another minute. Now here locally, at least, a Ohio-based company. It's a health tech startup company from Columbus. Well, it's expanding to Arizona. It's going to have a new pharmacy over in Mesa. It's going to create 200 new jobs here in that Mesa community. It's called Gift Health. They announced Thursday that it's opened a 43,000 square foot pharmacy. It's out there by my place out on Signal Butte Road. It's in the Superstition Commerce Park, if you know where that is at. The sixth building, 970,000 square foot of that Superstition Commerce Park, is where they're going into. Look, another pharmacy out there coming our way, and we're seeing a lot of this here lately as well. It's just south, I guess you could say, of that Apple's data center that's down there, that Global Operations Center off of Elliott. GiveHealth's Mesa Pharmacy will incorporate robotic assisted processing of more than 28,000 medications per day. Company's also partnering with UPS and using a new RFID scanning and twin packaging technology, and it's going to provide real-time order tracking, and it speeds up medication delivery time to you, the patient. So that's what's happening there in that section as well for another pharmacy coming to Mesa out there, and 200 jobs as well. And hey, if you can't get enough of the Arena Football League or the IFL, right, where the Rattlers play, you go, you know what? I don't want to drive to Glendale and watch some indoor football. Well, you don't have to anymore. Announced yesterday, this spring, starting in April, there's a new Arena Football League, and it's intending to launch with a team here in Phoenix. It'll play at Mullet Arena over there at ASU's campus there in Tempe, where the ASU hockey plays and other events happen there, concerts, volleyball, etc. The International Arena League is what it's being called. It says it will launch in April. It will have a team called the Arizona Juggernauts. That's the most unoriginal Arizona name I've ever heard of. Yeah, it's going to play at Mullet Arena. Of course, another league coming into town. The IAL's inaugural season will have each team playing 14 games, 7 at home, 7 on the road as well. According to the IAL's website and social media, there will be teams in both the United States and Europe, folks. That's why they get the international side of things. The U.S. teams will be located in Tempe, Cincinnati, Las Vegas, and Utah, which is weird, right? Which one doesn't fit? Cincinnati. It's kind of out of the way of Tempe, Las Vegas, and Utah, right? The European teams will be in Nottingham, England, Dusseldorf, and Stuttgart over there in Germany, and then Glasgow, Scotland as well. Some references on the league's website, as well as in a social media post, describe the IAL as being bigger, having either 10 or 12 teams. IAL's logo does feature flags from several countries that don't have teams. Their teams have not been named yet, right? They have Canada. They have Switzerland's flag in the league's thing as well. Obviously, no teams there as of yet. The Juggernauts' first home game will be on April 26th. And its last in the proposed inauguration season will be on July 18th, will be the final home game in that time frame. There's a potential for postseason play here in August, which is how this is going to work, right? 4 teams. Mullet Arena announced that season tickets for the Juggernauts will go on sale January 15th. That, by the way, coming up here 2 more days. That's Thursday, right? The team will hold a press conference, and it'll feature key executives and players for the Juggernauts as well. Mullet Arena, as you know, can sit 5,000 people. It features luxury suites, loge boxes, and other hospitality seating options. The IAL here, this new Arena League, it's based in Las Vegas. It said that it will renew next year's season tickets for existing season ticket holders for the team that wins the IAL championship. So root for the Juggernauts because you'll get free tickets next year as well. As you know, we already have an Arena Football League here in town. Very successful one as well. They're in the Indoor Football League. Of course, that's the Arizona Rattlers out there as well. They moved from downtown Phoenix to Glendale a couple seasons ago, and they played at that Desert Diamond Arena, the old hockey arena out there in Glendale as well. So competition coming for the Indoor Football League, especially if you rather stay close to home here in the East Valley. And we'll have to see how this works out as we get more information. What kind of players are they going to get? Are these teams going to have to travel overseas to play? It's going to be fascinating to see how this plays out as we watch that as well. And folks, I tell you what, markets are open right now. Can we throw up the graph here for the market watch? Let's just look what the market's doing here early this morning as we go off air here on our first morning show. Of course, we're just here on Tuesdays, and you see the Dow Jones has flipped to the negative side. I had some indications that was going to happen as soon as the market opened here today. But everything else still holding on to that positive side of things here as the market does open here today as well. So we'll be back at 11 o'clock tomorrow. So Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we're here at 11 a.m. As always, live. Tuesday, though, for this week and the next couple of weeks, we're going to keep trying this morning version of it, see if we can get it worked out. We're trying some new things here, and we have some ideas. First, you got to do is try it out first here. So if you like this morning show, let us know as well. Give us the feedback. Hit us up, SMAC 500 out there. Hit us up on the YouTube page with comments. Of course, anywhere you'd like to be here to let us know. The text line, 623-252-6670. Morning show, normal 11 o'clock show. I get positive feedbacks on that. Maybe we'll go to both shows coming up here if we can get it to work as well, folks. So kind of give you into the ideas of the ideas that we have coming up for you. We're going to try out here. So appreciate you joining us. Catch us on demand rest of the day. Of course, the main event coming up here at 8 o'clock as well, live with me and 17-year NFL veteran Dale Hellestrae. And, of course, local legend, as we like to call him here, Bruce Cooper, coming in and joining us. We'll see you tomorrow, folks, 11 o'clock here, McCollum on Business. Have a great day.